Hello everybody and welcome to my live stream. We're streaming live today on YouTube, Facebook and LinkedIn, and it's great to be here, and I thank you for being here too. So whether you're watching this live on what date is it? It's the Monday the 19th of January, or you're watching the recording, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you value it, but most of all, and I mean this very sincerely, I hope you use what you've learned today, because, you know, learning new stuff, I can tell you now, is a total and utter waste of time, money, and effort until and unless you implement. Because one of the reasons, in fact, I'm going to say it's the main reason for failure in life, in sport, in finance, in relationships, in weight loss, in, you know, you name it, is lack of action. That's the number one reason. People know what to do, they don't do what they know. We all know how to lose weight, don't we? But, you know, I'm not exactly the slimmest man in the world, let's put it that way. You know, I know what to do, but I don't take action. And you know, really what I want to get that message over to you, because I want you to take action. I want you to take action because I've spent over 30 years now working with tens of thousands of businesses. That's providing advice, training, coaching, mentoring, and offering a done-for-you service, helping businesses to become more successful from a sales and marketing point of view. And that really, if you think about it, that's from a business point of view, because the purpose of a business is to make a profit. That's it. You know, even if you're a charity, you've got to make a profit so that you can use that money to do good stuff. You know, and if that's the case, then there are only two ways of making more profit. It's simple. You got to reduce costs, you got to increase sales. And increasing sales is even just as simple, really. How can you do that? You can sell more people what you've got, you know, make more sales, get new customers. You can increase the average amount of money each customer spends by doing things like putting up prices, getting them to buy more expensive products, packaging things together, and so on and so forth. And then thirdly, you can get your current customers to come back and buy from you more often. You know, and to look at the supermarket metaphor, you can get more people in the door, you can get them to fill their baskets more with more expensive goods or more goods, and you can get them to come back and use your supermarket more than the one down the road. It's as simple as that. It's simple, but it ain't easy, you know. So let's just talk about some ways of making it a little bit easier today. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about, it's sort of a 90-day plan, but it's also a 30-day plan. The reason it's a 30-day plan is this. I want you to think right now about your business, and I want you to think about what could you do today that's going to make a big impact on improving your sales and marketing of your business, which you said, yeah, I know you can reduce costs, and perhaps you start there. Perhaps I was saying, right, what can I do to costs? But whatever it is, you're going to take an action that makes you more profit today. The question is, what would that be? What would that be? Now, you might want to think about that for a few moments, or even for a little bit longer. And once you've come up with an idea about that, that's going to go down as your day one activity. What are you going to do then? You're going to think, surprise, surprise, of a day two activity. So what are you going to do tomorrow that's going to make your business grow more and more, become more profitable? And you come up with an idea around that. And then guess what? Day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, right through to day 30 is what I'm suggesting you do. And you make a list, you know, get a piece of paper, get a spreadsheet, and write day 1, day 2, day 3, and come up with some ideas. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you're like 99% of businesses that I speak to before I've worked with them. They've got a website that doesn't win any business. I don't know whether that rings any bells with you. It might be that you win a little bit of business and you'd like to win some more business. So what are you going to do? Well, it depends. Depends what problem you've got. Have you got a traffic problem or have you got a conversion problem? Let's assume you've got a conversion problem. You're getting a load of people coming from Google and search engine optimization, paid advertising, social media advertising, email marketing, and so on. You get a load of people coming to your website. That's going reasonably well at the moment. What's not happening is they're not buying, they're not making inquiries, they're not booking meetings, and so on. So what are you going to do about that? Well, again, there's loads of things you could do, but one of the biggest is comes back to the good old days when I started over 30 years ago. And that is a saying that goes like this. The headline is the advert for the advert. And that was in the old newspapers and magazines, that the most important part of that advert in the magazine was the headline. And that was true. But it's also true today, but in the modern world. So the headline becomes the advert for the website, or the advert for the web page, or the advert for the social media post, or the advert for the YouTube video. The headline is the advert for whatever it is you're doing in terms of your marketing. So that being the case, one of the actions might be today, day one, let's set up a system where we're going to improve our sales and marketing results by improving the headlines on our website. Let me give you an example of what I see so often that just astounds me as to how bad it is. You've got two pages probably on your website. One is called Our Services and the other one is called About Us. Now, yes, there's some interested in knowing about that person's services, but could you not come up with a more boring headline than Our Services? What about even how we help you? You know, if I changed my Our Services page on my website to how we help our clients make more money, would that be a better headline than having at the top of the page Our Services? I believe it would. Now, that's only one example. What about on day two? Well, on day two, I could have how to improve or increase the amount of referrals that my business gets. And we've got to develop that. We've got to work on that, haven't we? I've not got time to go into how to do that today. I'm just putting it up there as an idea. There are definitely ways of getting more business from referral for your business. Number three could be something called low-hanging fruit. What about that? What's that about, Steve? Well, that's about going back to the people who've inquired that haven't been followed up properly. It's about going back to your past customers who've just not come back for a while, not for any particular reason that they weren't happy. They've just not bought from you. That's about going to your networking contacts. That's about getting more business from your current clients because they may not be aware of something. They buy product A and B, they're not aware that you also sell product C, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to get you to do here is to think about 30, well, let's call it 31 so we cover the full month, 31 different things that you can do, one per day. Notice the word little things that you can do, one thing every day to grow your business. Now imagine if you did that and you got a 1% improvement. That's a 31% improvement in your income over the next month. What about if you then went back to step one and did the same thing on day one? So let's say, I think I'm recording this, it's 19th of January. So let's say we started this, I'm going to use the beginning of the month. We started it on the 1st of February, right? We go for, all right, February's not the best choice. It's only got 28 days, but we go through the 28 days. And then on the 1st of March, we start again with day one. And then on the 1st of April, we start again with day one. because we're constantly looking to improve it. Now, why would we do that 3 times? Well, it's for this reason. We don't always get it right, do we? How often have you done something, thought it was a great idea, and it turned out it wasn't? But the truth of the matter is that all marketing works, but it doesn't work all the time. In fact, I'm going to be so bold as to say it doesn't even work most of the time. Okay? I've definitely done more marketing than has not worked than Mark, and I'm a sort of so-called expert in the field. Now, I know that's the case with you, because it is with everybody and every business. We don't always get it right. So what I'm saying here is, on the 1st of February, I go and change my website, change the headlines on my page, but it don't make any difference, because that's what matters. Results, guys. That's all that matters. You cannot put Facebook likes into a bank. I say that to people so many times. It's about how many meetings did you get? How many inquiries did you get? What are the conversion rates? What's that come to in cold, hard cash? I was told a little while ago about a networking event that this guy told me was fantastic. I said, "Oh, really? How much business have you won going there over the last year?" He said, "Well, none. None, really. No, I haven't." And he's telling me it's fantastic. It's a waste of time. He might have built relationships. He might have, enjoyed it. He might have had some nice breakfast. But ultimately, the purpose of business is to create a profit. And he hasn't created any more profit by spending hours and hours and hours going networking at events that don't work. Okay? Or doing the strategy that doesn't work. It could be the event worked, but the way they were doing it didn't work. So they need to test that. So one of your days in your month could possibly or probably include improving my networking system, or even writing a networking system, because we don't even have one. Okay. Right. So what we've got is 31 different things that you're going to do to grow your business. That's going to then be repeated the following month and repeated the month after. What happens at the end of 3 months? At the end of three months, you go and look at the results that you've created and see if they are any better. If they're not, then what you need to do, well, even if they're better, we need to look at what else is there, because there isn't only 31 things you can do. There's 31 things I can do on LinkedIn. I can improve my profile. I can improve my headline. I can add a better banner. I can improve the words on my profile page. I can get more testimonials and recommendations on LinkedIn. I can grow the number of contacts that I've got. I can communicate more with them. I can improve the communication. You with me? So there's loads and loads. There's hundreds of different things I could focus on. And the next 3 months, we might want to look at the things that we're doing really well and do more of it, and then look at some of the other things that we could do in order to try and improve those. I hope that makes sense. I know it's really simple, isn't it? I love it because it's simple. It's easy to do. This is almost, it's like writing a marketing plan in dot to dot, isn't it? On Monday do this, on Tuesday do that, on Wednesday do something else. And because of that, I really rate it. I think it's a fantastic thing to do. I'm sure you've probably heard, this is, by the way, this is not my original idea, a great idea from Steve that nobody's ever heard of before in the world. This was actually developed. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy now, but he was the guy who he was an American who was charged with going over to Japan to help them rebuild after it was Edwards Deming. Edwards Deming was given the job of was an American given the job of going to Japan to help them rebuild after the Second World War. And he talked, and the Japanese talk, and they still do today, about the Kaizen of the business, the Kaizen of a product, the Kaizen of their people, the Kaizen of their marketing and so on. And Kaizen roughly translates, I believe, although I don't speak Japanese, to constant and never-ending improvement. I'm not sure it translates to that, because that sounds a bit long, but that's what it means apparently. So what is your constant and never-ending improvement of each and every element of your marketing? That's giving you something to think about. I hope it's given you something to do. If you want to do more, if you want to get better, if you want to really grow your business, come and talk to me. I'm a nice guy, I think. I'm not a hard, tough sales guy who's going to twist your arm to do anything. I run a fantastic product or program called the Results Mastermind program. It's a group-based program. We meet up once a week, every week, for about an hour and a half to talk about our businesses, your business, my business, to run through the results that we've achieved. You get some one-to-one time with me. You get access to my Results Mastery University, which is online training. You gain access to Q&As. You gain access to weekly training programs. You gain access to something I call my Results Mastery AI Advisor, which is an AI that I've developed that sits on ChatGPT. It's absolutely fantastic. And you gain access to my client portal as well as my podcast. So there's a whole range of benefits. I would estimate that joining the program is going to, if you're a startup, right, and today is the first day of your business, I'd almost guarantee, in fact, I would guarantee, providing you take the required agreed actions, that you would make somewhere between 50 and 100 grand in your first year. If you're a £100,000 business, again, you can expect to grow by an extra 50 to 100 grand in the next year, and so on and so forth. I don't work with big corporates, not on this program at least. So I'm not guaranteeing if you're Vodafone, you're going to go from 3 billion to 5 billion. That's not quite the idea of it. It's all about helping small businesses, which has been a mission of mine now for over 30 years. I really do believe it's very difficult to run a small business, and it's almost like being my life's mission to try and help small businesses. So what do you do if you want to do that? Go to results-mastery.com. You can see that on the wall behind me, results-mastery.com. Get yourself a meeting. You'll see on the homepage there's a big gold button. Click on that. That'll give you access to my diary. We can meet on Zoom for half an hour, and let's just see if that's something that you'd like to do. Thanks ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again next time. And go ahead and take action. Thanks very much.